Hey guys, Jill Werner here, and as promised, I'm going to be talking to my friend Esther Armata, who has. Ooh, here she comes. Just getting organized. Oh, so many buttons to push. There we go.
Hello.
Hi, Esther. There we go.
Hi.
Oh, it's saying there's already a guest on this broadcast. You're the guest. Uh, can All right, Kelly, let us know if you can see Esther and I. All
I
right.
think everyone should see us.
I think so too. It looks like it. So, all right, great. Thanks, Kelly. Jill Warner here. I am a physiotherapist, physical therapist, depending on what country you live in, that works with stroke and brain injury and all neurological types of diagnosis. So anything to do with the brain, I am a nerd about. And so when I met Esther, and we met, probably at least a year or so ago now, we completely started nerding out about, oh, I see your little guy in the back seat,
Right here.
about all things brain and adrenal fatigue and how that all contributes to our brain function. And so Esther is a mom of two absolutely gorgeous kids, and husband or wife to her husband's an entrepreneur, so she is like on the go and flexible and multitasking, as we can see, all the time. And you also had to become an advocate and kind of a warrior mom for getting the right care for yourself and for your son. So I'm going to get you to come on and just tell your story, first of all, about what happened and why how you had to navigate the system and what you had to do outside of the system to help yourself and Marcus.
Okay. So my story sort of kind of dates back about 15 years ago, or 15, gosh, I would say closer to 20. I had all these health issues, and it initially started off with having terrible digestive issues, which would lead to things like fatigue. And I knew that I had a lot of inflammation in my body. So when I investigated it further, at the end of it, I got, here you go, here's a script, and goodbye. They didn't really understand what was going on, but yeah, they agreed that I had inflammation in my stomach. Um, and so I just knew from that point on, early on, that I needed to take my health into my own hands and, be in charge of it that way. So that's how my journey started. And honestly, I mean, I'm going to be 40 next month. At the age of, 20, 25, when you feel 20 years older, you know that there's an issue, there's something wrong. So I started learning about health and nutrition, really just took every single supplement out there that I thought would help me and would benefit me. And that is what led me to where I am today. So I've always been a fan of, supporting the body holistically. And I was what led me, I guess, a year ago, I was that tired mom. I was always on the couch. I really didn't know what was wrong with me because it was almost like I was the healthiest, unhealthy person around, because I was doing all the right things. I was eating the right foods, taking the right supplements, sleeping the right amount of time, although I never felt refreshed when I woke up. Um, so I just knew that there was an issue. I just didn't know what it was. And then I guess fast forward, or if we could rewind, years ago, my son was diagnosed with autism, so he's on the spectrum. So again, that just sort of hurdled me into learning about the gut, the brain, nutrition, how I could support him holistically. And I really did anything and everything just to help him. And so he was on a boatload of supplements, and I actually learned about oxidative stress. And you know, we both, you and I, were involved in the same company together, and it just made a lot of sense to me to lower that oxidative stress. I knew that there was inflammation going on somewhere, and it made sense for me to lower my oxidative stress as well as his, and just to see what would happen. I really had no expectations, but in just a few short months, I noticed that I was sleeping better. I was more energized. I could tell that some of the gut issues that I had just, they subsided. My mood was elevated. As my husband would say, he had a brand new wife. and, and then as for my son, I noticed all of those things as well. And what it really was just supporting your body um, to do what it's designed to do. Does that make sense?
It
So I knew that
totally,
we were onto something, and something really special.
yeah, it totally makes sense. So you started activating his body and your body, the NRF2 activation, which is really,
Mhm.
I'm just going to talk a little bit about that. It's a pathway that is in our cells. It's in every cell in our body. And when that pathway works, is supposed to work really well when we're younger. But as we age, it starts to slow down and eventually shuts down completely. But it's the pathway that makes all our own antioxidants, our own natural antioxidant enzymes, our own anti-inflammatories. Oxidative stress and inflammation go hand in hand, right? Like that's exactly what you found. And everything that you're saying about digestive issues that you started out with when you were 25, and we're noticing, that all goes back to our brain health, right? Like that gut health and brain health, and that fatigue and your adrenal fatigue, which you ended up getting diagnosed, I think, with adrenal fatigue. That creates havoc in our body, and it is that kind of low level of inflammation. So you not only were activating your NRF2 pathway, but you're also looking at your gut health as well, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
And so what kind of
Exactly.
things, because I'm sure you were eating really clean already. So what kind of things did you do differently? Like you said, you were already the healthiest sick person you knew. Like you were exercising and doing the right things, but you
Yeah.
were struggling
So
still. So
I was struggling. So um, first, I lowered my oxidative stress, and then I learned about the mitochondria and how it's like the energy of the cell, and it made so much sense to me. So I activated my NRF1 pathway as well, and supporting your mitochondria. That was also a game changer because before, when I had these crazy stressed out adrenals, I would try and be active and work out. And when I did work out, I'd work out once and be literally on the couch for the rest of the week just trying to recover. And so that's another thing that I did, was supporting my mitochondria and the energy, just really just getting that energy back. And again, probiotics, right? So I tried every single probiotic on the market there, and I know that the one that we have, it's very unique, and I saw great results with it. So just overall, just listening to my body, activating pathways, and just being open-minded. And thank God I was open-minded, because I'm a brand new person, and I'm so thankful for that.
yeah, I saw your workout video from the other week. So you definitely don't have any problems with fatigue anymore. I'm like, oh my God, that is hardcore. Um, so tell me about some of the stresses you went through, or some of the things that you had to go through, even probably getting your son diagnosed, and then what they were suggesting to do once he was diagnosed.
Yeah, so you know what? So, as a mom, you're always worried about your kids, and you want to help and support them in any way. So,
For sure.
when he got his diagnosis, I really didn't get much support from the doctors, aside from just the traditional therapy, so to speak. And I wasn't surprised. I mean, it's mainstream medicine. Don't get me wrong. I have a huge respect for doctors and what they do. But when it comes to, how can I say this? I just find that there's a lot of it's when it comes to natural and holistic health, they're not the people that I typically go to for advice. So I just knew that, again, I had to go my own path and do my own research, right? And through that, at one point, Marcus was taking up to 15 different supplements. And for a child that's 3 or 4 years old, that's incredibly hard to do, right?
Yeah.
And after activating his body and supporting his brain, just that neurological function through our amazing brain juice, I just noticed things like his moods were better. He was talking more. He was more communicative, asking questions, things like that. Now, I have to be clear: what we have on our hands is not meant to treat, cure, or mitigate disease or anything like that, but it's just really just supporting the body, right? So, and his body was properly supported, and he's on this journey, and it's a continuous journey, but it's on the right trajectory, and I couldn't be more thrilled.
Yeah, it's allowing him to learn and continue to learn, right? I know that you shared, and I can share this in the comments after we're done, but you shared some coloring that he did before and after. And the before picture or the after picture is only 3 weeks after starting the products, and like and activating his body, helping to clean up his gut with the probiotic, activating his mitochondria. And after 3 weeks, it is shocking the difference between the two pictures and the coloring. But again, like you said, we're not suggesting that this is treating anything. It's actually just allowing the body to do what it's meant to do. And that's what's so powerful. I always go back to the brain. Like I always look at what was happening in the brain before and what was happening after. Like the brain before is not communicating very well. The pathways aren't. I think about like a pinball, and thoughts are like pinballs flying around inside the brain. They're not flowing and communicating easily, even the two sides of the brain. But then when you activate the body and allow things to run smoothly, you have this great communication and it all flows, and it changes the person. I mean, like you said, it really helped him with lots of things just in day-to-day life. It changes how they're managing, because it's how they're thinking, and that translates into how they communicate. Their thoughts are flowing to them more easily from their brain to their mouth, and it allows them to communicate and function better. It helps them play with friends better. It helps them clean their room or tidy up their toys easier. It just helps with everything, right? What a cutie. So yeah, I always like take it back to the brain and what's happening, because that all starts there, right? All our behaviors, all our personality, how we're coping, our anxiety, all of those things go back to the brain. Does it have enough energy? Are things communicating more easily? Is it on fire or inflamed? Because a lot of these issues go back to oxidative stress or inflammation. Even a lot of the things that I deal with, Parkinson's and concussions and brain injury, and a lot of it again is inflammation. And when you give the body the ability to take care of that, the oxidative stress and inflammation, you're helping to calm that fire. And so what were your with the adrenal fatigue, like you were talking about, you literally felt physically fatigued all the time. Did you have, I know with adrenal fatigue, a lot of times there's aches and pains. Now, I was thinking that you had migraines, but you didn't. It was more like tension headaches and things from the adrenal fatigue. How did you find, once your body was activated, that your body was dealing with those aches and pains? Because again, that goes back to inflammation or oxidative stress in your body, right?
It does, yeah. So I had, I knew that there was inflammation going on in this area. I went to this expo one time, and there was a chiropractor's booth there, and he had some sort of instrument that scanned your body, and there would be red, yellow, and green. And so you can quickly get your body scanned, and it showed where the inflammation was. And of course, it was in the areas that bugged me, which were my neck, shoulders, and upper back. So it was I mean, that came to me as no surprise, right? And that really just came from working at a desk and being on a computer, and it just escalated and elevated into something that was out of control, to the point where I would be taking prescription medication. Again, I didn't want to, but sometimes you just have to because you need to function properly, right?
Yeah.
So again, so I didn't have any expectations. Just by lowering that inflammation, that oxidative stress, I haven't taken any prescription medication really since activating my pathway, right? So that in itself speaks volumes, because it was debilitating. The pain was debilitating to the point where I would miss out on events, occasions, and things like that because I just wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
So it's really been life-changing for me.
That's amazing. And that's really going back, is getting to the root cause. Like you were saying, you can take an ibuprofen or um, different medications, but what are they doing? They're actually just
Mhm.
masking the symptom or helping take care of the symptom, but they're not getting to the underlying cause. And you feel like you're getting to the underlying cause with
Exactly.
activating your body and cleaning up your gut. And there's so many ways that um, the whole idea of gut health is huge to me, because as I've learned over time, a lot of our neurotransmitters that take care of our brain are made in our gut. And so that gut brain connection is so, so strong, and we don't give it enough credit. So just getting the right mix or the right balance of bacteria in our gut makes such a huge difference. So you also have found that the probiotic just helped with all the digestive issues that you were experiencing um, way back when. Now, did you have the gut issues like for 15 years, really, until your body was activated, like you were struggling with
Pretty
different things?
much. So, back when I had all of those gut, I don't know if I just paused, but I was able to overcome a lot of it just through diet and nutrition, being on a plant-based diet, things like that, and just really changing that area. But it was about me, I guess I was managing. So it's kind of like it got me to about 70, 75%, but I always had a sensitive tummy. I always did. And I always kept that in mind when making daily choices. For years, I couldn't drink coffee because my tummy was too sensitive. And I love coffee. I love the taste of it. But now I have to say that I can drink coffee. Things like dark chocolate used to bother me. I can eat dark chocolate, and you know that I love chocolate. So my everything down there, I feel like is just working just right, and
Yeah.
it's as it should be.
Yes. Yes. And eating up the goods, right?
Yes, exactly.
We're both addicted to
I know. Our favorite salad bar.
oh my God. Oh, it's so good.
It is
All right,
so
my dear.
good.
Well, do you have anything else that you want to talk about or share? Otherwise, I think that was phenomenal information. Thank you so much for getting on and talking about your experience and your journey with yourself and your son.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would say is that there's so many people out there that are feeling tired. Their body's just out of balance. And what I would say to that is just be your own health advocate. Do something about it because your body is telling you. So whatever it is, listen to your body, treat your body right. It's the only one that you have. And yeah, just listen to your body because health is everything. And if you don't have it, you really don't have anything else, right? So
that's
that's really
right.
about it.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And for anybody watching, if you want more information or you want to share this information or reach out, please comment below. Esther and I will both check the messages. And I will post the picture, the before and after coloring picture, in the comments. And also let us know if you are watching it live or on the replay, and where you're watching from. That would be great. We really love to see if people are finding the information helpful and where they're watching from. So thank you so much, Esther. I totally agree. Be your best advocate for your health. I feel like that's so, so important. You know your body best. So All
Listen to
right.
it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great Friday afternoon. I know you're off to Italy tomorrow. That's amazing. I'm so jealous. All
We'll see
right.
you
Have a
next
great
week.
Friday. Thank you.
Bye.